Woo! Thank you. Am I here? Where am I standing? Over here? Over here? All right. That's me. All right, so as David said, I've been an interior designer for 16 years. I've had my own practice since 2008, and I have full-time and part-time people to help me, a full staff. Let's talk about Gary. So I put this slide up here to show that I am one who appreciates individual style, because Gary's had blue hair, we've had orange hair together, we've been fat, we've been skinny, we have 28 years. This was a few years ago when I weighed 265 pounds. This is now. That was us in Barcelona. And then us being cheesy with the selfie of Paul Bunyan in Wisconsin, because you have to do that when you're in Wisconsin. So we're going to be in Australia in a few weeks, so world travelers. I am one to always look for the best version of me. I always want to be improving. I always want to see what else I can push myself to be. I am a goal digger, as Ashley taught me. That's one of her favorite phrases. This is me when I first started exercising. I could barely get up the hill without panting and wheezing. I am a UN Improved Master Graduate. I have been through all 4 of their classes. They have changed my life. There are a few other people in this room that have been through some of those classes. If you want to take your universe to the next level, I suggest you do UN Improved and go through Otto's Genius Coaching, because I am learning all kinds of amazing things to help my brain work at its peak performance. I CrossFit. I know we've talked about that. I CrossFit. I've also judged CrossFit competitions. I think that makes me a better athlete. It makes me appreciate the extreme places that people will take their bodies, and it makes me realize that I can do a 305-pound deadlift. So it was really heavy. And I yelled really loud at the end of that. So I did that 2 days after my 51st birthday. I know it might not be a big deal to you guys, but where's Ed? Eddie, how much do you weigh? As you're eating a cookie. I can deadlift Eddie and a couple bags of potatoes. I'm just saying. I have lifted Harry. Yes. Yes, that's awesome. Referral networking has been a big part of my business plan since I started. I barely advertise. 78% of all of my business comes from referrals. In my BNI history, I have given 369 referrals for a total of 522,263, over $500,000 that I have contributed to people in BNI, mostly in this group, which I take a lot of pride in. It's very important for me to help others with their goals. And I've gotten some business too. This is paid for me to have employees so I can grow my business. So without that, I would be a single person just plugging along. So I've been on the leadership many times. I like to serve. I like to lead. I'm good at it. I want to talk to you about why I do this. So it's not about sofas and drapes and pillows and fluffy stuff and flowers. Okay, that part's kind of fun, but I really could care less. It's about making a difference in people's lives. This home, she had a stroke when she was 51, my age. It left her only to use the left side of her body, and I had to design her entire condo so that it was one-handed and left-handed, so that she could live independently in a beautiful and inspiring surface. So it was a very meaningful job. And it wasn't just design, it wasn't just pretty stuff. I made a difference to this woman's life, and that was my most impactful job, so it was really good. So sometimes it is just decorating. All I did for this house was furnish it and decorate it. However, I furnished it and decorated it so it could be a vacation home, so she could be financially independent. Bernie actually reps this place, this condo right here, and he rented it, I think it was up for 4 days and it rented out a lot. She bought 2 condos, and Ken actually represents the other one as a long-term rental, so she can become financially independent from 25 years of being dependent on a man that didn't let her live her life. That's a big difference, okay? It's not just decorating, it's more than that. This was a client of mine. It's a manufacturing facility, it's a commercial area. His father built this up over 30 years, created this legacy. He wanted to show his employees what he was going to do with the company to take it to the next level. His dad got to see this finished about 2 months before he died, and it was a really meaningful exchange and a handing over of the torch, so it was really great to be part of that too. You notice Brian's taken lots of these pictures. I don't know if you noticed that. He's amazing. Did you guys see how ugly that was before? Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Well, I pushed the, No, I pushed the light bulb button. Thank you. All right. So this, Mary Hampton worked on this house, and I think there's some other people that did some things here too. She was a referral. These were both BNI referrals. She wanted to have her front room finished. She was using the life insurance from her recently passed away husband to buy the dream home to raise their 10-year-old son together. It had nothing to do with furnishing this room. It had everything to do with starting the next chapter of her life and setting her family up to get over this really crushing thing that happened to them. It was a very meaningful job. It happened to be just furniture and decorations, but it was so much more to her. And she has told me that I was a big part of her grieving process, and I allowed her the permission to move on with her life and say, you deserve this, and it's okay that you're spending this money in this way because you're setting up a foundation for your son. So, also meaningful. Same house. I designed this custom bookshelf. It actually has 8 drawers in the back. So the 8 drawers in the back, she had to make sure it fit all of her movies. I don't know who keeps DVDs and Blu-rays. She has 468 of them because she counted them, and I had to make sure that they all fit, and there was dividers. They're alphabetized. It has nothing to do with the movies. Movies was something they did as a family together. It needed to be perfect. And so I designed this, bookcase with that in mind. We spent a lot of hours talking about the details of this bookcase, which had nothing to do with the bookcase. It's so much more than that. This, I just finished, so Linda Nyquist has been to this house. She had this really dinky, tiny island and an area to put a regular dining table in. They didn't use it that way. Her family sat at the bar, her 3 kids and her husband sat at the bar, and she stood behind the sink. So she was just always servant and always ready to serve and never part of the family. So that to me is awful. So I redid this island and created this built-in banquette, gave her a wine fridge because she needs it with the 3 kids. And gave her a wastebasket that the kids can use so it's not sitting out in the middle. So created some real functional space and made this beautiful island that she's proud to show off to her friends and neighbors in this, it's a gorgeous house. It just had a really stupid kitchen. So I fixed it, and they're gonna be able to have lots and lots and lots of memories at that table. That is gonna last them and be part of their life for a long time, even though I only charged $300 to do the design, and that was my only involvement, but I made an impact, and it was just as important to me as all the other jobs I made lots of money on. Okay, so in your bags, there's all kinds of fun goodies and papers. If you're not gonna use them, please, you will not offend me. Don't take them, I will recycle them. But there's a notebook with pens, and all these things were done by Sandy. Thank you so much for taking care of me, that was awesome. I do holiday decor, so there's a brochure in there for that. My gains profile, which they talked about during the one-to-ones, is in there. There's a notepad. There's an editorial feature that was in Lux magazine, a 2-page spread. And how to refer us. They have to want us to call them. You can't go to somebody's house and say, oh my God, their house is so ugly, they really need Adrienne. Okay, that's not a good referral for me. Somebody needs to want my help and want my service. I don't work for free. I charge a consultation fee. They will get so much money and value out of the 90 minutes I spend. If they don't, I'll give them their money back, and I will ask them, do you feel good writing this check? And I will point out when I made them the $200 during the conversation. Every time. It works every time. I charge a flat fee, and I will reimburse that $200 towards the flat fee if they move forward. And that's everything that I have to say today. So, thank you.